fans on this show. Don't worry about your fans gonna be your fans. They're gonna ride for you. You don't have to make up situations or overdo anything.
For years, we watched LaTisha and Marsau Scott on Love and Marriage Huntsville, and we thought we had them figured out. They were the stable ones, the ride-or-die couple, the ones who seemed to have it all figured out while everyone else was falling apart. Marsau, the sharp businessman, LaTisha, the supportive, ambitious wife building her real estate empire. But here's the twist that nobody saw coming. Everything we thought we knew about the Scotts, everything they presented to the cameras, might have been nothing more than a carefully constructed illusion. And now the bombshells are dropping, one after another. LaTisha Scott has just dropped a major revelation about her marriage, and the shocking truth about their finances is starting to surface. This isn't just a breakup. This isn't just a money problem. This is a story of secrets, betrayal, and a family empire crumbling from the inside out. When Love and Marriage Huntsville first hit our screens, the Scotts were the picture of success. They showed us the Black Cigar Lounge, a staple in North Huntsville that they built together. They talked about their real estate ventures, their grand plans to revitalize the community. LaTisha was a mom, a wife, a CEO, an investor, and a philanthropist. She had a master's in business administration and another in real estate development. She seemed to be the ultimate power woman. We saw her balancing her family with her business ambitions, and she made it look effortless. Marsau was the pragmatic, sometimes blunt businessman who always seemed to have a plan. He was the steady hand guiding the ship, and LaTisha was right there beside him, presenting a united front to the world. They were supposed to be the blueprint, the proof that you could have a successful marriage and booming businesses without the drama and the chaos that seemed to plague the other couples. For years, we watched them navigate the friend group, offering advice, building their brand, and seemingly thriving while others around them crashed and burned. They would talk about their plans for Scott Manor, their huge real estate development project that they claimed was going to change everything. It was supposed to be their legacy. They told us it was a labor of love, a sign of their commitment to each other and to North Huntsville. But behind the scenes, the cracks were starting to show. The murmurs weren't about cheating scandals at first. They were about money. Rumors started to circulate about unpaid debts and questionable business practices, but the Scotts just waved it off. They dismissed it as the cost of doing business, as haters trying to bring them down. They kept up the facade, showing us the vacations, the cars, the successful events. They wanted us to believe that everything was fine, but the reality was far more complicated, and the foundation they had built was shaking. This is where the story takes a dark turn. We now know that the Scotts' financial empire was not as stable as they led us to believe. The drama surrounding LaTisha and Marsau's marriage this past season was a major red flag. We saw the tension. We saw the arguments. LaTisha was frustrated that the construction on her office in Scott Manor wasn't moving fast enough. She was tired of being crowded into a small living space with their family, feeling like her needs as a businesswoman and an individual weren't being prioritized. She needed that space, that independence, but Marsau seemed to be dragging his feet. It wasn't just about an office, though. It was about trust. It was about transparency. It was about a fundamental breakdown in communication that was exacerbated by something even more damaging: the truth about their money. And then came the real shocker. As the financial strain became undeniable, LaTisha and Marsau were forced to have difficult conversations that went far beyond an unfinished construction project. They sat down with an intimacy coach, a moment that was both vulnerable and telling. LaTisha spoke about the emotional toll of the financial situation and how it had affected her trust. She admitted that her guard was always up because she felt that Marsau didn't always defend her, that he let outside perceptions and social media narratives paint him as controlling or unsupportive without correcting the record. What we saw on screen was a marriage under siege. The stress of their crumbling business empire was bleeding into their home, creating a strain that was palpable. LaTisha was grappling with the question that haunts so many relationships. Can a marriage survive when the financial foundation turns to sand? And just when we thought we knew the worst of it, another layer of this scandal was about to peel back, one that would pull her family and the entire cast into a web of conflict and accusation. Things escalated quickly. The infidelity rumors that had been swirling for years were thrown back into the spotlight, not by some tabloid, but by the cast members themselves. Martel Holt, in a moment of explosive anger, made wild accusations, claiming he and Marsau slept with the same women and dragging LaTisha's name into the dirt. It was a bitter, public feud that spilled onto the screen and exposed the depth of the bitterness between the former best friends. The tension was so high that even LaTisha's mother, Miss Wanda, was brought in to handle the fallout. LaTisha's decision to involve her mother was a calculated move, a way to bring backup to a fight she knew was coming. It showed just how desperate the situation had become. The image of the united, successful Scott family was crumbling, and the stress was starting to show on LaTisha's face. But the drama didn't stop there. Behind the scenes, LaTisha was throwing accusations of her own. In a podcast interview, she dropped a stunning allegation that completely changed the narrative around one of the show's most dramatic moments. She claimed that an argument between Marsau and Martel was heavily edited. According to LaTisha, Marsau didn't just fight with Martel, he alleged that Martel had been involved with other men in Huntsville, dropping what she called receipts. It was a bold claim, one that suggested there was a side to the story the producers didn't want us to see. LaTisha was now the one pulling back the curtain, showing us the manipulation behind the scenes. She was fighting for her family's reputation, trying to reveal the truth to counter the allegations that were being hurled at her husband. This was a wife in survival mode, no longer content to play the supportive role on the sidelines. She was in the trenches, fighting a war that was being waged on multiple fronts. And then came the deepest wound. As the walls closed in on their financial and marital problems, new cracks appeared in the Scott family armor, this time aimed directly at LaTisha's reputation as a businesswoman. The season 10 premiere revealed a growing feud with her castmate, Nell Fletcher. Nell felt targeted by LaTisha, accusing her of making comments, using symbolic digs that were designed to tear her down. But the most damaging accusation came from another entrepreneur, Stormy Steele. Stormy slammed LaTisha, accusing her of copying her business website's shipping policy, down to the very wording. Stormy claimed that LaTisha blamed her own website designer, but Stormy wasn't buying it. She called LaTisha out directly, saying, "Tisha, when you make as much money as I do a month, come holler at me." It was a brutal takedown that questioned LaTisha's authenticity as a businesswoman. She had spent years building a brand on her financial success, and now her own business ethics were under fire. This was a devastating blow to a woman who had built her identity around being a successful entrepreneur. The very thing she had worked so hard to cultivate, the image of a powerful business mogul, was being publicly dismantled. The stress was mounting, and the public humiliation was taking a toll. LaTisha found herself isolated, defending not just her marriage, but her very reputation. And all the while, the financial problems she and Marsau had been hiding for so long were becoming increasingly impossible to ignore. The bankruptcy filings, the lawsuits, the debt, it was all crashing down around them. The empire they had spent years building was collapsing, and it was threatening to take their marriage and their family down with it. As we look at the state of the Scotts today, the reality is sobering. The success story they sold us was a myth. The strong, stable marriage was a house of cards built on a foundation of secrets. The financial empire was a mirage. LaTisha is now forced to confront the fallout of her husband's decisions and her own active participation in keeping up the facade. The question that lingers is this: what happens when the fantasy you've built your entire life around shatters? When the cameras stop rolling and you're left in the ruins of your own creation? Who is really to blame? The answer is more complicated than we could have ever imagined, and the final chapter of this drama is far from over.